Yo, 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 you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D Spill, and I am back again with some more info. We got some things to discuss. We got some things to bring to the table, things to bring to the front of the congregation, I will say. Yes, my co-hosts are out once again. You're going to be seeing a lot of me dolo for a while. We got a lot of different things we're working on. Schedules have been all over the place. Really proud of my guys. They're making some moves and getting some adjustments. And sometimes, when duty calls, you gotta go where you're needed, as far as priorities. So you're gonna get me today, and I hope y'all cool with that. If not, well, you know what I'm saying? Just stick around until Poe and Jelani get back. But I definitely want to get into the topics and the conversation at hand. First, for those that aren't aware, we got to get some news out of the way, all right? Jay-Z and Diddy case was dismissed. For those that weren't aware, of course, we already know Diddy's been behind bars for a while. Seems like there's a lot of people celebrating that. And there's also people that disagree with that, like Kanye. But we're not even going to speak on him right now because he got a lot going on. But basically, there was a young lady that had accused Jay-Z and Diddy of SA in her some years back. Just to give you, I could give you a little brief. Basically, as of February 9th, 2025, the SA lawsuit against Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs has been dismissed. The case involves allegations from an anonymous woman who claimed that both men raped her in 2000 when she was 13 years old. Both Jay-Z and Combs have denied these allegations. Recently, Jay-Z withdrew a motion for sanctions against the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby. This move is seen as a change in legal strategy, but does not equate to a dismissal of the case. In January 2025, a judge denied Jay-Z's attempt to have the lawsuit dismissed, allowing the case to proceed. Therefore, the lawsuit remains active and both parties continue to engage in legal proceedings. Well, it seems like when things happen, the whole concept of when it rains, it pours, and you guys, you hear the figures of speech, right? I've seen something that I thought was very interesting since Diddy has been getting all these accusations, because I'm going to call everything accusations right now until he's convicted. You know what I'm saying? I believe what I believe, but I'm going to call it for what it is, right? It's just interesting that, so many people were talking about what was going to happen in 2024 and, what's going to spill over into 2025 and things of that nature. But here, these are examples of why, me personally, I would not be the biggest fan of being famous. And the reason why I say that is just because, this could be the start of you having a disagreement with somebody, and then that turns into a whole situation where now people are piling things on, people, that had past issues with you. They want to dig some things up or basically bend the truth. But this situation with Jay-Z kind of struck a chord with me because, of course, you have a whole bunch of people thinking that, the Jay-Z's and the Diddy's and these guys are at the top of the food chain as far as in hip hop culture. They have some strong accusations and some strong theories against them. But with this particular situation with this young lady who got to remain anonymous, I believe her father outed her, and that's what kind of took away the integrity of the situation and the I don't want to say just integrity, but the what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? The credibility, in what's going on with her. I've seen a lot of people mention the fact that she was on the spectrum, and they tried to tie that in to her behavior. Black people, because that's what I've seen doing it. And this year, I'm calling out my people because we're better than how we act at most times. We really are. But, other people, including ourselves, can't see that. Do your research on being on the spectrum, please. Matter of fact, don't just do your research on that. Do your research. Do some research. Do not take everything verbatim that TMZ gives you, that the Shade Room gives you, that Gossip gives you, all of these digital gossip magazines and pages and apps, World Star, all of that. Do not take that as your standard information. Just because they say it doesn't mean it's 100% true. If you pay attention to outlets, they all echo the same information. They're all pretty much the same article. The words are just moved around, so there's no plagiarism or things like that, okay? Do your homework. But, speaking on that, speaking on her condition, we have this habit as a society and as people that because of somebody's condition, that's why they make the decisions they make. And you have to be careful with that because what's good for one side can be good for another. If you guys keep saying that, this person with Down syndrome said blah, 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 or this person with autism said this, or this person, with leukemia said this, what you're doing is you're also giving an out to somebody that may do something heinous or disrespectful or lie about something, and now you're basically granting them an excuse. Okay? So it goes both ways. First of all, educate yourself on what these conditions are. Educate yourself on the actual story, all right? And educate yourself on, different things that will give you a better insight on what's going on. But we can't keep, as a society, saying that because this person had this going on, this is why they made this decision. Number one, it's discrimination, in a lot of instances, but it's the equivalent of saying that, this person does this because they're black, or this person does this because they're white or Latino or whatever, right? You can't keep perpetuating that same narrative because it's a stereotype, number one. And a lot of times there's a lot of knowledge missing in a stereotype, and stereotypes are borderline prejudice anyway. But at the same time, you don't want to give somebody a label of why they did something because that also removes the accountability aspect. So I just wanted to speak on that for a minute because I seen that floating around a lot online, and I just seen nothing but true ignorance when people say things like that. So we'll see if there's more to come with the whole Jay-Z situation. We'll see if there's more to come. I mean, of course, there's going to be more to come as far as in the drama and the allegations involving Diddy. It's not looking good for Brother Man. But something else I wanted to talk about with y'all, man, I'm going to be real. It's kind of triggering me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to explain to you guys why this is triggering to me. This isn't about me defending people. I just want to give my insight and perspective and my thoughts on certain things, okay? So people are still taking Snoop Dogg to the cleaners, all right? They still tearing him up because he did this performance, this inauguration performance for Trump, I'm guessing, right? Now, I can't speak on Nelly too much. I don't know what's going on there because he's been equally getting dogged out. And, Soulja Boy, I don't really hear too much. I think everybody just understands that Soulja Boy gonna do what he do and how he do it. But I seen a commercial pop up with Snoop and Tom Brady. And basically, they're having a face off and they're going back and forth with what disdain they have for each other, just describing certain things. And at the end of the commercial, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a decent message. At the end of the commercial, Snoop says, I hate the fact that we even have to make a commercial about this. And the whole concept was, trying to diffuse the hate that we have and the divide that we have in the country. And to be real, a lot of the hate and a lot of the divide in the country right now is political. Whatever your political party is where you stand. Whatever your tribe is as far as in culture, that's where you stand. And if the culture and the political blend, it's just one big mess right now, right? And I'm not even going to say that's the elephant in the room because I feel like on every level, any industry, whatever conversation, it's just a divide right now. And so that's what I got out of the message. And of course, my melanated people, we in the comments, we still mad at you, Snoop, sell out, all of this other stuff. And when I see things like that, coming from our culture, I gotta call out the hypocrisy in it. And I gotta call out the intent to be biased and everything else that I could, any other word I can throw in there regarding this conversation. And I'm gonna tell you why. Did Snoop contradict himself by performing at the Trump inauguration? Yes, he did. The reason why is because, for those that don't know, when Trump was first in office, when he was number 45, he got online, and it did not age well, and he said he ain't rocking with certain people and he's not supporting anybody that performs at that inauguration, just to turn around and do it at Trump's second term, right? Now, I am not sure if this is 100% true. I will try to add the content to this video, this YouTube video, but I remember coming across a video that talked about, it was somebody that was working close with Snoop or close with the event, okay? And he basically explained that Snoop was supposed to be performing at a crypto event. And if you guys don't know, Snoop is very, very, very involved with crypto. He's involved with an NFT.
Public perception of what happened with Dog. He went and performed, him and Ross and Soulja performed at a crypto event in D.C.
Right.
Hosted by David Sachs. People thought it was actually Trump's inauguration, and the social media world went crazy. But I saw your tweet and I read it, and it made a lot of sense.
What bothers me about it, dude, is like just seeing people not even add any nuance or context to the event and just shitting on Snoop. And what made me want to tweet this was because I saw the video of him on stage, and I just saw like all these crypto brands behind. I didn't see any.
No MAGA.
Nothing. Snoop is probably the most crypto forward-thinking artist we've ever had.
No question.
You got to think, like, when he acquired Death Row, he pulled off all his solo albums from the streaming services for a couple of years. Like Doggy Style, you could only get on Web3. You couldn't stream it for a while. So, like, this guy is, like, elbow deep in the crypto space. And people who are involved in this event are like he knows them.
So what do you think the disconnect was with people confusing it with Trump's inauguration and actually what it was?
So there was a flyer that I saw that said the crypto ball, and then on the top of it, it said in honor of the first crypto president, Donald J. Trump. Again, though, that doesn't make it like an official inauguration. No. Like Trump wasn't there. Mm-mm. And then I saw people replying to my tweet, and they were like sending pictures of like Snoop taking a picture with some like kid who had a MAGA hat on. And it's like, yeah, it's a fucking crypto event, bro. Like most crypto bros are probably supporting Donald Trump.
Crypto bros.
We're talking about Snoop Dogg. And there's so many hip hop talking heads who took this as
an opportunity
to just because there's a real economy behind this divisive shit and shitting on people. And I'm like, not Snoop, bro. Mm-mm. Like, if you're going to do it like with full context.
Stuff, the Sandbox, alternate reality, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank, but I know a little bit about the crypto and the NFT stuff. But he's been involved with that. He's made a lot of money off of it, too. And from what that gentleman explained on the podcast that he was on was that that's what the event was. And then when it got closer up to the day, it turned into a crypto Trump inauguration ball type of situation. And for you guys that don't know, again, let me help you guys that are not really invested in crypto. For you that don't know, Trump is pro cryptocurrency. He even has his own crypto token, right? Kamala and Biden were not. So anybody that was involved, that's been involved with crypto, you guys, I'm sure you're pretty grateful for that. But I think from what I'm getting from that content, and again, I'll try to find it because I seen it not that long ago and I probably should have saved it. But he was explaining that that's what it was. And then because he happened to be performing at it and they kind of switched the ambiance of what it was, he's a sellout, right? He's completely turned his back on the community. He completely contradicted himself. And if I'm not mistaken, this gentleman also said Trump was never even at that event. Now, I'm not saying that so people can take their words back, so people can change their emotions. I'm just here to give you the information that I witnessed and give you my take on certain things. But I got to talk about the contradiction in so many people saying what they're saying. When I looked at that video, because I think Snoop shared the campaign ad or the commercial. It's like the joint post you can do on IG now. Well, when Snoop shared it, I just seen a whole bunch of Snoop backlash, just continuous from what already transpired, right? But for you guys that don't know why you guys are dragging Snoop in his comments and why you guys are continuing to drag Snoop when you see the commercial, just understand. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you how to think and how to feel, but just understand Tom Brady was in that commercial too. And for y'all that don't know, Tom Brady has been an extreme supporter of Donald Trump from his first term until now.
I hate you because we're from different neighborhoods.
I hate you because you look different.
I hate you because I don't understand you.
I hate you because people I know hate you.
I hate you because I think you hate me.
Because I need someone to blame.
Because you talk different.
Because you act different.
Because you're just different. Man, I hate that things are so bad that we have to do a commercial about it.
Me too.
I'm not saying for you guys to go at Tom Brady. I'm just saying you guys are a little one-sided because both of them have played a significant role in being involved with Donald Trump in some kind of way. Now, I got to do my research on the video to find out in the event to find out if it's true. I didn't really have time to go in depth about it, but this is something I just came across that made me want to speak on it again. The other thing that I have to call out on my people regarding Snoop is Snoop, when he first hit the scene, this brother was straight banging Crip, gangster rap, hood things, pimping, and everything else. Why now? That's just my question. Out of a lot of the things that Snoop has done that's been influential, that can be considered, keywords, y'all follow my words, don't get emotional, okay? A lot of things that Snoop has done throughout his entertainment career, whether acting or whether doing rap music, there's a lot of ways and a lot of reasons why people can say, he's been more of a negative influence. If you're not into hip hop, if you're not into rap, if you're not into hood movies, the things that Snoop Dogg has made money off of and participated in, why are you waiting till now to have an outrage? I have a problem with our community picking and choosing what we're outraged over. If you really care about his influence and you really cared about where he stood, then you guys should also have cared when he was in his younger days, when he was talking that street stuff, talking that Crip stuff and everything else and that killer life. So I don't see the people that are outraged about this being the same people that would have been outraged about that. I said it before and I'll say it again. These individuals are entertainers. Their job is to put music out and entertain. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say. Some of you guys are going to say, yeah, but when you're an influence and let me tell you something. When your AC goes out, when your plumbing is messed up, when you need new tires on your car, when you go to restaurants, when you go to any place of service, you do not know who these people are that are serving you and what they think about you as a culture, as a man, and as a woman, or their thoughts on politics. I just want to point that out. You cannot assume that every transaction you have with people that they're on the same thinking time or thinking I don't want to say thinking time. That don't even make any sense. That ain't even real. But have the same thought process as you. Okay? You cannot assume it. And we do it. We do it without thought. We go to a restaurant, the waiter's nice and they smile at you. There's good customer service. Some people with great customer service can be racist and not like you or have different ideologies and different beliefs and different political stances than you do. So if you would just for 1 second in your lives, look at people for who they are and what they do and remove what they personally believe and think, you might be all right, because sometimes we give people too much credit and we give people too much responsibility as far as in how they should be involved or how they affect our lives. I'm not telling anybody to stop doing anything. I'm not telling anybody to stop feeling anything. The only thing I'm telling you is to open your eyes and pay attention, because people that are mad at Snoop because he contradicted himself and because now you believe that he would be a Trump supporter. I don't even believe that. I believe he did the event for a check. And if it's true that this was a crypto event, I think he did it because that's what he's affiliated with. But I'm going to do my research on that. Or you guys can do it, and you guys can leave your comments and your take in the comment section. So I'm going to just throw that there. We got to do a better job at picking and choosing what we're going to hyper focus on and what we're going to be outraged about, because sometimes as a people, y'all, I be confused at how we be outraged about one thing but not another. I'm just pointing that out. It's really confusing to me, really confusing. So hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this. Until next time on Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. I don't really like having these conversations, but then again, I think they could be healthy conversations if they're done right. So Ayala Valzant. I want to make sure I say her name right. For y'all that know, she has the show Ayala Fix My Life, right? She was recently on the Lip Service podcast with Angela Yee, I believe that's what the name of her show is. And they were talking about women. It was a clip that, I'm going to try to share. I'm trying to get better with sharing some stuff in these videos so you can see what exactly I'm talking about if you're lost. And she was explaining that modern women today, she looks at the general group of modern women today as modern women, that are in skirts, women that are in skirts, right? Men. She looks at modern women as men in skirts. Boom, there you go. Sorry about that. That's a question. I got to ask it. For y'all that follow us on the podcast and for y'all that are tuning into our content, how do you feel, men and women? Do you agree with the OG on this one, right? Do you think that modern women are just men in skirts?
We are, because I think we've been left alone and up to our own devices for too long. Mm-hmm. I find women to be mean as hell. I'm sorry.
Really?
Mean.
Oh my gosh. Am I mean?
Oh yes.
Jasmine, are you mean?
A little bit.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, a little bit.
We're mean.
I'm more straight. I mean, you're more passive. You'll be mean on the inside and I'll say, hey, or
But see, I'm an alpha woman, so I'm straightforward too.
Yeah,
I'm in your face and on your word, but I'm not mean.
Okay. Are you aggressive?
No, I'm assertive.
Okay.
I'm not aggressive.
What's the difference?
Well, first of all, your intention.
Okay.
And assertiveness, it's about dominion and accomplishing a particular thing. And aggressive, it's about control and getting what you're going for.
And what are the common reasons if you do agree? Now, I'm going to share my take. Some of you guys are going to disagree. Some of you guys are going to agree. The whole point is conversation, all right? This is just my take. I can't say all modern women. And the reason why I can't say that is because I am not affiliated with all modern women. I am affiliated with black women, the OG black women, the double OG black women, and the modern black women. From a social media position, when I'm looking at content and I'm looking at behavior, I do agree. I do agree with the sister on this. But I don't think it's everyone. So I'm going to tell you right now, before you get triggered listening to this episode, ladies, I do not believe that every single one of our sisters or women in general are more masculine. Okay, I don't believe it's all of you. I think it's a majority, though. I do. If I had to pick a number, I would say it's 70-30, and I'm just being nice when I say that. I would say 70%, in my opinion, 70% of women are more operate like men in skirts, and 30% of women don't. So be careful in the comment section, because I do believe in a hit dog gonna holler. Okay. Now, what are some common reasons for this? I would say lack of mentorship or misguided. You were misguided by your teachers, by your mentors. I would also say that lack of a male presence. A lot of times, just like it affects young men that don't have a father in their life or a consistent male role model, I think it plays a role on women too. But I think the more damaging part for women is when, you have your mothers and your grandmothers or just your elders teaching you things that's not going to be beneficial for a relationship. I do believe that a lot of today's modern women that operate like this, that operate, in more of a masculine tone, I think it was more taught. Now, I've seen countless women say, well, we have to be this way because we're raising children by ourselves or because the corporate world and things of that nature. I think it's more taught. I think you were more taught to do that than just adapting to that. And the reason why I say taught is because that would be the equivalent of saying that about men. And the only time that I hear women say that men are acting sassy, which y'all should look the definition of what that means up to, men are sassy or men are feminine and all that other stuff, is when it comes to dealing with y'all. Because when it comes to the corporate world or when it comes to, on the job situations or out here in the streets, I don't really hear that. I just hear it when it comes to your anecdotal experiences of dating men. Then it comes out that you were this or you were that. But I think that a lot of women are taught this. And that's because, a lot of mothers, a lot of grandmothers, they reflect on their life and they call themselves trying to protect the younger women. They tell them to be independent, have your own stuff, don't depend on a man. You can do bad all by yourself. Tyler Perry, a lot of his movies kind of perpetuate the same mindset. Not to take a knock at Tyler Perry because he has his audience and his target demographic, but that concept of the Lifetime movie concept is what I like to call it, where the woman is down bad. She has 3-4 kids. She gets out of the crazy or the abusive relationship, and then she lives happily ever after. She meets a CEO that takes her and her kids in, or she meets this great guy that messed up a long time ago and living a better life. But for those women that don't have that happily ever after, they got to remain strong and be tough for their children. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there are certain situations that women have to be in survival mode. But I do believe a lot of these things are taught because the counter example that I'll give is these young men. When the father is not in the home, when there's not an older brother or uncle to stay in that place or that position of the father, look at the influence they follow. They usually follow the dope boys. They usually follow the gangbangers, the big homie, or whatever the case is. And that's who they operate like, or they're influenced by something that isn't going to do them any justice or do anything positive for them. But the point that I'm making is they were taught by someone. Now, I get that you may have certain beliefs and certain feelings, or you may make certain choices in life because of certain influence. But that consistent influence is usually the person teaching you or the people teaching you the behaviors that you're displaying today. So I believe that a lot of women are operating like this because of things that they were taught, whether it's, that these women were taught that, men think this about you and they think you should only make this amount of money, or you should be independent. But there was something that Ayala said about a woman's power. And she said that most women don't know that their power is silence. And I could just see y'all fingers burning right now to leave a comment about that. But I understood it. I definitely understood what she meant, because when I've seen just in my experience as a young man, going to school or being around elders in the family, that old lady or that older, mature woman that talked with a soft tone but had so much conviction and even a little assertiveness in the way she's delivering her words or getting her point across was always more intimidating to me as a young man than a woman that was just screaming. And the reason why is because when I would see a woman that's like screaming and really loud and just all over the place, my mind would automatically go to crazy. Huh? I'm cool. Oh, duck. She throwing haymakers. But that woman that really had herself just together. Even when if you grew up black, even your mom, when you see her talk through her teeth, you know what I'm talking about. She's not yelling. She's not going all over the place. She just that soft tone, but just enough assertiveness for you to be like, oh, she's not playing. So I agree. I agree with the OG on that one. I'm sorry. I just, a woman's silence and chill, I think moves a lot more unmovable objects than this, I gotta be masculine, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I believe that. Now, I'm a solution-based person. I do understand that a lot of these women that operate in that masculine skin that they're in is because of disappointment from men. But I don't think it's just men. And I really would hope women see that. You guys operate like that because of the men that you've came across and the women that you've came across. Some of y'all women don't have friends, and y'all don't have friends because they've done some shady things to you. They probably messed with your man. They probably done stole something from you. They did you dirty. So now you feel like you got to be on the defense. You on DEFCON 3. Yeah, that's what DEFCON 3 means for y'all that thought it meant something else when Kanye said it. But you guys are on full defense. You guys are in full readiness, right? So when it comes to men that approach you, or because of your past experiences, when it comes to friends that have disappointed you, when it comes to family, a lot of women, especially in our culture, in the black culture, a lot of women got this protection around them for themselves because of bad situations involving family too. Siblings, parents, you don't get along with your mom or whoever raised you. So I would like for women that operate like this to be more transparent. Don't just pour it all on men, because your whole life experience ain't just been men. It's been a lot of things you dealt with, not to mention whatever you probably deal with at work or at jobs that you worked on, right? Experiences. You probably dealt with, discrimination from your nationality and ethnicity to the type of sex you are, to your sexual preference, to your intelligence. I understand women do go through a lot, and they are, especially black women, they work on a uphill battle majority of the time. I get that. But the minute you start saying, and men, or the men do it, you're going to lose a lot of people listening to it, unless it's just other people that's listening to you that think the way you think. It's more to it. We react the way we do, and we move the way we do because of our life experiences. Now, certain things we may respond to or may be more triggering to us because it affected us in a certain type of way more, but we don't move a certain type of way because of one thing. It's because of the whole experience that we're still experiencing to this day, right? So my solution, my opinion, for women that do operate like that, you do need to try to get some kind of help. And I don't just mean therapy. Another thing that I don't like in today's climate is the minute somebody does something that we don't like or that we think isn't normal, they need therapy. And then we're not even kind enough or not even logical enough to explain what type of therapy, like sitting down and talking to somebody about your problems is not always going to work as far as therapy for everybody. It's not going to work for everyone. Some people, their therapy needs to be hiking every day or jogging every day or building something because they're fascinated with being able to create. Sometimes your therapy is temporary isolation for a certain amount of time a day. Sometimes therapy can be all of it. Therapy can be meditation. But the point is, find your therapy or find your therapist. That's the first piece of advice as far as a solution that I would give. The other thing I would explain to women is to find out what is the biggest trigger for any of your anger or any of your defense that you have, and what can you do to counter that? Because in my opinion, if you don't have more happiness and joy in your emotions than anything else, then you're really getting cheated out of life. You're cheating yourself, or something or someone is cheating you. Now, it's okay to have empathy. It's okay to have convictions and these beliefs that you have too, right? Standards or morals. But these should all work together in conjunction so that you have self-preservation and you're enjoying your life. That's why you put these things in place. You should be defending your happiness. But if you're looking angry all the time, or you always are angry in the fight of defending your happiness, then what's the point? What's the point? So I that would be my solution. Therapy, figuring out the root cause of why you feel the way you feel and think the way you think. And if you already have figured that out, do something about it. Do something about it that's going to have you in a mindset of more chill, more approachable. I still to this day believe, sisters, y'all are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I feel like you get cheated out of opportunities and out of proper representation at times because at times you guys perpetuate the stereotype that isn't true. One thing that bothers me about my culture, about the men and especially the women in our culture, is we will help perpetuate the stereotype. I understand that we can all sit back and say, well, not all of us is like this, or yeah, it's just a few of us, or maybe not in my city or not in my neighborhood. But the point is that's all. Sometimes some people need to be like, all right, see, told you. So I really hope we do a better job, because we are an amazing group, especially to be considered 14% of the population in this country. We are very influential all across the globe. But I think the hard part we have is being approachable and being able to be receptive to certain information that's given to us, even if we don't like it. We have a hard time with having conversations. And the crazy thing is patience. I don't like the fact that our men and our sisters lack more patience for each other than we do for people outside the culture. I don't understand that. Now, again, I know you're going to have one or two people say, oh, not me, but I'm generalizing. We got work to do in every department, in every subject. You better believe it. I don't want to have to go back into the stat box again, okay? Just take my word for it, because you understand what I'm saying. So I just think that, we sisters, you guys are amazing, but I'm gonna keep it 100. You're not gonna like it. Black women are extremely amazing and is a gift. Okay, you guys are a gift to this life experience. But what y'all don't understand is the things that you guys think make you amazing. A lot of times it's far from it. Being a boss bee, that's not what makes you amazing. Having 40 different degrees and having these different titles, that's not even what makes you. In my opinion, that doesn't make you amazing. The things the validation of society, in my eyes, is not what makes Black women amazing. If you want to know what I think makes Black women amazing, leave a comment and I'll do a video on it. Not right now, because I got other topics, but I'm just letting y'all know, sisters, for you guys that are doing dope things, a lot of those things aren't even the things that makes you amazing. It's way more simple than that. I'm sorry you don't feel that way, or there's not enough people in your life to let you know that, but I'm just telling you that's not what it is. But I do think that I will say this, for the women that don't operate like a man or men in skirts, you guys are top tier. For women that know how to bring forth that femininity that's needed, that softness that's needed, that tone and that energy that makes you more approachable. Like, y'all, man, top tier, top shelf, whatever you call it. And I don't even care what you do. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you got a GED. If you operate like that just as a human being and you have that energy, and I think you guys already know that. For y'all that operate like that, you know what I'm talking about, and you can tell your experiences are probably different from a whole lot of other women's. It doesn't mean that your experiences are better or theirs are terrible. It just sometimes you can't relate because of your experiences. But you women that operate like that are definitely top tier. And if you want to know what I mean, ask and I'll elaborate. Or maybe me and the guys, when they get back, will elaborate on what we mean by that, because I know my co-hosts agree with me. Now, I seen something that I thought was interesting, and I forget which one of these sites that kind of brought it up and kind of talked about it, but it was about millennial men. Now, I'm an older millennial guy, and I've been seeing these conversations over and over and over and over and over about how millennial men are moving in society and how millennial women / modern women are also moving around in society. And I thought this was interesting. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit before I get out of here. But one of the articles that I came across, and there's several articles, but it says research indicates that millennial men and women exhibit distinct social behaviors and preferences regarding society, socializing and forming relationships. A 2017 research center study found that millennial men experience significant societal pressure to engage in certain behaviors, such as being emotionally strong, showing interest in sports, and participating in discussions about women in a sexual manner. Specifically, 57% of millennial men felt pressured to join in when other men talk about women in a sexual way, a higher percentage than observed in older generations. In terms of social connections, a 2025 research survey revealed that while men and women report similar levels of loneliness and numbers of close friends, men are less likely to seek social connection and emotional support from their networks. Women are more inclined to utilize a broader array of sources for emotional support, suggesting differing approaches to maintaining social ties. I thought this was interesting, because I forget what platform it was, talk about like how men are pretty much more lonely, pretty much more sexless. For y'all women that don't know this, right? There are a lot of men, a big number of men that are sexless. Their life experience is sexless. That's why I would laugh when I would see a lot of women online or even on these podcasts talk about, oh man, y'all just be doing whatever and y'all be putting it whatever. And it's like the percentage of men that's not really getting that action is very high. So y'all women got to ask, when you guys are using your anecdotal experiences to make that the general experience, who you messing with? And I mean, we even see it in entertainment. Y'all know the Futures and the Nick Cannons and all of these different entertainers, and how many baby mamas that they have, the Cam Newtons, the Lil Waynes. A lot of these men have multiple women. So when you see these men having multiple women, that's a small population of men getting a large number of women. But I want to talk to the brothers real quick. The men, the guys. I believe, and women, you can listen, because you know this affects both sides in certain ways. We are like this. Us as a group of individuals in society, we are like this because of some of the things. Like, we do pressure each other, man. We do put each other through different things. We clown each other. We dog each other out. I mean, I remember in high school, you know, after a certain age, if you was a virgin, you were getting toasted. You were getting cooked. And that is so crazy and so terrible looking back at it because of those pressures, those social pressures, some of those things ended up making some of my friends very, very young fathers that didn't get to experience some of the things that they were entitled to experiencing in life. So we have to do a better job as the OGs and as the mentors to start removing, which I believe is already starting to happen as a lot of us have became parents, have to start debunking and explaining how the things that we grew up believing are trash and are not appropriate for our young men coming up now. Okay? Sports and things like that, I don't know. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with clowning each other. I mean, sports is sports. I mean, it's competitive. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be, sometimes a friendly or a sibling rivalry type of situation. But I do know that a lot of men put pressure on each other. And the reason why a lot of men crack and the reason why a lot of men delete themselves, I got to watch my words, my verbiage, is because of pressures of the world. It's really easy in today's climate to challenge a man's abilities or to question, is a man really a man if he's checking all of the boxes that we deem making that person a man, especially black men. Man, we really have a hard time. I think men in general have a hard time, but I think black men have an even harder time trying to meet the standards of society as well as the standards of the women in our culture. And the sad thing is, we put each other on this scale or on this chart, and we start checking all these boxes to see what type of person you are. And at the end of the day, we're both broken, men and women, black women and black men. We're both broken in a lot of ways. So we try to find where there isn't cracks at and create more cracks. I don't understand that. I don't. But I will say that this is important information for women too, because I do believe that a lot of women assume a lot of things about why men behave the way they behave. Oh, he didn't have his father in his life, so he acts feminine, or he was raised by his mama, so he acts feminine, or he ain't got no. Now, some of those things are true. Not having a father around or only having your mom, these things are true in a lot of instances. But just to go a little bit deeper, so that women understand, men are under a lot of pressure, and women are and men are under pressure in cases of trying to impress you. We deal with rejection our whole life. That's why I think sometimes when women deal with rejection, you could tell that they don't know how to deal with it, but we deal with it our whole life. We deal with it our whole entire experience. We deal with rejection. We go into a lot of scenarios with that thought in our head that we could be rejected, whether it's a job, whether it's approaching a lady for a date, or just letting a woman know how you feel because you're not sure if she feels the same way. Men go through a lot. But I think the other thing that men, we have to do a better job supporting each other. We need more people here. When you look at the stats on men taking themselves out of here, right? Deleting themselves. I mean, when you look at like a lot of these celebrities, that we either grew up watching or that we admired, the way they deleted themselves. One of the things that threw me off was like Robin Williams. I'll never forget when I seen that article that, he deleted himself, right? And the reason why it tripped me out is because growing up watching this man in these movies, all he did was bring happiness and joy. In all of these movies, you're laughing, you're entertained, but he never had that joy and that fulfillment within himself. And he struggled with it so much that he couldn't take it anymore. He's no longer here. And I think these are important conversations, especially with the climate that we live in. We live in such a divided time from politics to race. And then on top of that, you're trying to figure out how you're going to feed your kids, how you're going to pay for groceries, how you're going to have somewhat of a social life, how you're making the right decisions as a parent. We go through this stuff all the time. And then when you start talking about your cultural issues, it gets even crazier. It gets sometimes even more depressing. But I think, again, I'm solution-based. Don't be afraid to be polite or kind to one another. Don't be afraid. I'm not telling men to let your guard down, because that's in our DNA. We have to operate, with some form of defense, and we got to weigh things out and see what's real and what's not, who's real and who's not. I get that. But what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to say that you're not okay. Don't be afraid to say that you do feel isolated. Don't be afraid to say that you're hurting and that you got things going on and you don't even know how to figure it out. Don't be afraid to say you don't know. All of these things that our fathers and our grandfathers hid from our grandmothers and our mothers and the people in our family from us, they thought at that time period that it was strength. It showed a sign of strength and power and control and focus, right? But the truth is it's a slow, painful death. I'm privileged to have friends of mine that I've been close to for 20 plus years. I think the newer friendships that I have are coming up on 10 years. I don't have any new homies like that. Everybody's pretty much coming up on a decade or 2 decades, right? Right. This 2025. Yeah. So the majority of my friends are over 20 years, because I've been out of high school for, as of this year, 20 years. Yeah, I'm an OG. Don't be mad at me. But I can't tell you guys how much I've appreciated having these friends throughout some of my experiences, losing my father at a young age, moving around here and there and losing contact and getting contact back with people. Just different experiences, man. I gotta really push that. I know, we listen to hip hop, and I'm talking to my brothers right now. I know we listen to hip hop and we listen to these rap songs and stuff like that. I rap myself, okay? And we start feeling what the artist is talking about, especially if we're in that mood. But sometimes that's just an experience for a short time. Don't carry that burden with you. We have this thing where I don't trust you, you don't trust me. Now, I do have a belief that you trust people for as far as you can throw them with certain things. But it's totally fine to trust people. And it's totally fine to trust people based off who they are. I think that's the thing we get confused with when it comes to trust. And that's for men and women. That's what I'm saying right now. I remember DMX saying that on an interview. Trust people to be who they are. Trust a snake to be a snake. Trust a dog to be a dog, and so forth. So you can trust. We just got to be careful with how we are trusting. But I really wanted to talk to the fellas, because I did make me feel away. I do have a son, and I have children, but thinking about my son reading these things, it's like, I can't fix or heal the world by myself, but man, would I like to try to contribute to giving a better experience of the world for my son. And if that's through making content, making music, of course, showing him experiences with me by his side, I just think it's important. And I think men need to hear more positive things about them and more positive remedies for some of the experiences that they're having. Get out there and communicate with people. We are the best group of species at taking rejection. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know there's some women out there like, because one time I was at the bar, and I'm not talking about that guy or them type of men. So leave that there. What I'm talking about is we have been by design to know how to tolerate disappointment and rejection. And that's given us nothing but experience, helps us go back to the drawing board and make better decisions. But I just thought that it was really crazy. I also thought that the numbers didn't add up, and I'll tell you what I mean in a minute. But I just thought it was crazy that there's so many men out there that are like that. And the reason why it's crazy to me is because I remember being a man feeling that way about life and experiences. And man, this is all I do is I just work, take care of this, take care of that, do it all over again, blah, 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 blah. Hey, these women out here taking trips, all right? They out here going out of town. They out here going out the country. And I'm not saying to do these things to compete with women. What I'm saying is live your life. These women out here living their life. Now, whether they're really truly happy or not with the decisions they make and how they live their life, whatever. But from a distance, it looks like they're living their life and they're having fun. Fellas, do the same thing. Get your boys together. Go shoot pool. Go bowling. Go to the arcade, the retro arcade. Sit down. Pick a game to watch. You know what I'm saying? Some sports. Go play active sports. Get connected with your homies. If you don't have homies, go find some homies. And if you have a hard time with that, connect with family. Connect with cousins and distant cousins. Listen, before y'all start talking all of this, well, I can't trust it. This person did me like that. Yo, keep people where they at. If you have a homie that's just good for kicking it, at least you have a homie to kick it with. So just kick it with that homie. If you have a homie where you just sit down and you talk about your ideas and things like that, do it while doing something recreational. The whole point is, man, get out there and get involved with each other as far as in having a network that you can depend on and that you can learn from. Go around like-minded people like you. Hell, even gangsters know how to do that. They hang with other gangsters. So hang out with other people that think like you and believe the things you believe. And get some experiences, because we shouldn't be moving like this. We shouldn't be moving like this. We're better than that. But I had to talk about that because when it was talking about millennial men and it was talking about millennial women, there is a shift. There is more men that are more feminine and operating more in the feminine type of way. But, you know, why is that? It's because of these experiences and the isolation and things of that nature. So I'm just saying, you know, go look this stuff up. You know, if you don't believe me, go look it up. It's kind of mind boggling. I want to take more time, but I got things to do. You know what I'm saying? As far as elaborate on this. But if you guys do want me to elaborate on it, you guys want me to pull up the research and the numbers and what exactly is going on in a deeper way, then you know what to do. You got to leave a comment. I can't do things that you want me to do if you don't tell me about it in the comment section. So do that for me. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get out of here. You've been tuning in to the Notion Podcast. I am your host, Dizzy D. Spill. Now, what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to go ahead, like, subscribe, make sure you turn on the notifications at the bell. Let me know what you agree with. Let me know what you disagree with. Let me know if you're ready for Poe and Jelani to come back on here, so maybe you can disagree with them. Take your pick. Anyways, like I said, it's your boy Dizzy D. Spill, host of the Notion Podcast, and you've been tuning in to another episode. Until next time, peace.